Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a long overdue video. It's actually just over 2 years since I got my breast augmentation, and I've been meaning to do an update video, but I actually had a baby in between now and when I got the surgery. So I felt like it wouldn't be a true update until a year postpartum, just so that my body could kind of like recover back to normal and I could give like a more real update. Because honestly, if I tried to update a year ago, I feel like anything I told you would just be inaccurate because I was being so affected by like pregnancy and nursing and things like that. So I actually asked on Instagram if you guys had any questions, and I kind of like condensed them down into the most common questions that you guys asked. So I'm just gonna kind of like run through those, and if I missed anything, then just leave a comment down below and I will make sure that I answer it there. Okay, so just to clear some like basic information out of the way, if you actually watch my vlog that I made about the process, I answer a lot of this there. So if you want more details about the actual process, my reasoning behind things and all that, then I'll just like link that vlog down below. I filmed it 2 years ago and you can watch that for kind of like that type of information. So this video is going to be all about like the recovery and like the post kind of experience of getting the surgery. But to just kind of give you basic information, I went to Dr. Guerra in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was actually referred to him by a friend. I paid $8,000 for my surgery and I did like the year payment plan, so it was interest free. And then as far as size goes, I got 330 cc's. So a lot of people say like, what was your cup size? If you know anything about bra sizes, cup sizes are just not accurate. I feel like every brand is so different, so I don't really know if I could give you a cup size, but I was definitely very flat before, and I'd say now I'm like a C or a D. But 330 cc's are gonna look different on everyone depending on like what your starting point is. Okay, so the first kind of main question that people were wondering is, are you happy with the results? So I would say overall, yes. I don't regret getting the surgery. I'm happy with the results. I feel like I like how they look better than they used to. Right now, I still like have a little bit of postpartum weight, and so I know that they will get a little bit smaller, and I think when they get back to the size that they were like after I had the surgery, then I will be like truly happy with them. Right now they feel just a little bit bigger than I would like them to be, but I think that has to do more with my body weight than the actual surgery itself. But overall, like I said, no major regrets, and I'm glad that I went through with it. That kind of leads into the next question. So the next question is, do you have any regrets or wish you went bigger or smaller? So I think overall I don't regret it, but I do kind of wish that I went maybe a little bit smaller, which is so funny because everyone I ever talked to told me that they wish that they had gone bigger. So I don't know why I'm like an outlier in that, but I think I just feel like I have like a smaller frame, and sometimes I do feel like my boobs are a little bit too big for me. Like I don't feel like it matches the rest of my body as well. And then it's kind of like the thing that I realize I don't like love about having bigger boobs is I feel like sometimes they make me look more top heavy than I actually am. So like I used to be able to just wear like a big t-shirt with no bra and I feel like it looked fine. But now if I just wear a big t-shirt, I look like huge. I feel like it makes me look just like bigger than I am, and I don't like love how that looks. So yeah, I think if I could go back, I would do just a little bit smaller, but I don't feel that way like enough to like go get them redone. I feel like the size that they are is fine. It's only like slightly bigger than probably what I would want. Just like one of the reasons I got my boob job in the first place was to fit in clothes better, because before I was like so flat chested that I couldn't wear so many styles. But now sometimes I feel like I'm on the opposite spectrum of things, where I feel like I still don't fit certain styles because now my boobs are a little bit too big. So I think like there was a happy medium in there, and I'm hoping that when I like get to my kind of postpartum weight goal that I will kind of get to that sweet spot. But yeah, I would say like if I went like a little bit smaller, I think I would have found that like perfect mid-size that would kind of satisfy both ends of like feeling like I fit my clothes a little bit better. So the next question that everyone wanted to know was, how was recovery and do you have any scarring? So my scars are super light, like they're basically non-existent, and I got them like under. So honestly, the scar just looks like a little crease, like that would be there anyways. I used, let me get it actually. This was a scar gel that my doctor recommended. It's Skin Medica. They just sold it in the office and I feel like it worked really well. I mean, obviously I have nothing to compare it to, but I feel like my scarring is super light. Like you honestly would probably never even know. A lot of people have seen me obviously in a bikini, and unless they knew me before, like people have no idea that I got a boob job. So I feel like it's pretty subtle, and the surgeon did a really good job of, there's no noticeable scarring or anything that would make you like think that they're implants. As far as recovery goes, it was definitely like rough the first couple weeks, mostly because I had Jade at the time, and she was still kind of in that age where like she needed to be like lifted out of her crib or like carried a lot. And I did have help like with Bryant and my family, but she just like obviously wants mom, and she would like want me and ask for me, and that part was like really sad. So I do recommend, like, if you have a kid, maybe waiting till they're like older and like slightly more independent. If I did it now, like Jade can do everything herself. Like she can get in and out of the car, she can get in and out of her bed, and she doesn't need anyone to pick her up. So either do it when your baby's like really small, or when your kid is like big enough to do things themselves, or just make sure that you have a lot of help. Outside of that though, I don't feel like recovery was honestly that bad. I mean, I was on painkillers, so I don't really remember feeling like super in pain. And then it did take a while before I felt like I could do any sort of like weightlifting in the gym, but I've heard that getting a reduction is like a million times worse. So as far as that goes, I feel like my recovery wasn't that bad. Okay, so the next question, I feel like I touched on this a little bit already, but do you feel like you fit in clothes better? So like I said before, I think there would have been like a happy medium size for me to fit in clothes a little bit better. The other thing that is hard about having bigger boobs that I didn't really anticipate is that I do have to be like more conscious of what bras I wear under shirts, because I used to just wear like a lot of sports bra style bras, but now if I wear like a sports bra style bra, like let's say under a shirt like this, it will like make it straight across, and it gives you kind of like this uniboob look. I've definitely had to convert to more like triangle shaped bras, or like more underwire, like well fitted bras. I'm still kind of working on finding like bras that fit really well. So if you have any recommendations, I will gladly take them. I've ordered like from Skims like 3 different times. I've tried like different sizing calculators, and I'm having really bad luck with finding a bra that fits. And it also doesn't help that because my weight and like my boob size has been fluctuating from just like postpartum and nursing and all those things, like it doesn't help that my boobs are just always changing sizes. So honestly, I might wait 6 more months before I like really commit to a bra, because it's just like a shot in the dark at this point. I will say though that I like how I look in swimsuits a little better. I think that like there's definitely some styles that my boobs feel a little too big for, but I like how I look in swimsuits so much better than before, just because if you watch my vlog, I talk about this. A huge reason I got a boob job wasn't just that my boobs were small, because I feel like I know so many girls with small boobs and they literally look amazing and clothes look so good on them. But I have something called like a pigeon chest. Love that name, so sexy. But it's basically like my sternum like kind of protrudes forward, and my boobs are a little bit more like set on the side. And because of that, swimsuits and just like clothing in general always just fit me really awkwardly. And so getting a boob job kind of like solved that problem a little bit for me. So if you have small boobs, like please understand that like I fully don't think that small boobs look bad. And honestly, if I had small boobs but they were just like set a little differently, like I had a little bit different anatomy, I think I would have been fine and honestly not like wanted a boob job. I think that girls with small boobs look so cute in clothes, and if I had that, I probably wouldn't have changed. Okay, a lot of you asked if pregnancy changed them at all, and I will say yes. Not as dramatically as I thought that they would, but I do feel like they got like stretched out just like a little bit, and like I feel like they hang like maybe a little lower than they did before. I would probably have to look at pictures to really tell if there's a huge difference, but I also feel like because I have the boob job, I feel like my boobs like held their shape a little bit better than if I like didn't have anything, because like most of my friends who had babies and like nurse and stuff, like their boobs changed a lot, and I feel like my boobs like held the shape a little bit just because of the implants. But I do have some stretch marks, and I can tell that they're like hanging just a little bit more saggy, which honestly is like not a huge deal to me. If it really bothers me, maybe in a few years I would get a lift, but I feel like mostly okay with like how they changed with pregnancy. Part of pregnancy that sucked though is by the end, I'm just not one of those girls that just has this tiny cute little belly. Like I get so huge when I'm pregnant, and by the end I just felt so just like massive and bloated, and having big boobs absolutely did not help with that. I always joke to Bryant that I felt like a gorilla. Like I just felt so top heavy, and this is really TMI, but you're in this far, so I'm assuming you're okay with that. I just felt like really extra sweaty like under there, so that was the part that really sucked, having big boobs like with pregnancy. They just really added to that huge heavy feeling that you feel at the end of pregnancy. Okay, quite a few of you asked me about breast implant illness and if I was scared of that or if I felt any symptoms of that. So just like straight up, I don't think I felt any symptoms from it, and I personally was like not super scared of it just because I think it is pretty rare. I think it's so legit that there's women who experience negative effects from implants. I mean, you are putting like something foreign in your body, but there's also like a Facebook group, can't remember what it's called. I did a lot of research before I got my surgery, and there's a full Facebook group of thousands of women who were so convinced that they had breast implant illness, and then they got their implants out and the symptoms didn't go away, and it turned out to be like a fully different condition. So it's not that I don't think breast implant illness is not real, but I do think that it gets blamed for a lot of things. And because women go through so many hormonal changes with like pregnancy and like turning 30, and that kind of like lines up with a lot of timelines when women get the surgery, that I think that a lot of people blame it on the implants when it is not always the implant. So like I said, I just did a lot of research, and I think if you're someone who's like really prone to like, you know, autoimmune disorders or just gnarly symptoms like that, like if you have like a chronic illness, like maybe implants aren't the best choice for you. But I felt like I was coming from a healthy starting point, and I personally don't feel like I've had really any symptoms. So yeah, I feel like it's really just up to each individual whether they want to take that risk. And for me, I felt like I was comfortable taking that risk, and so far so good. Knock on wood, hopefully I don't start getting symptoms after this. But my heart definitely goes out to anyone who does get symptoms or like has a lot of bad complications from their surgery. I think that with a lot of these type of things, we often hear the bad stories because those are the people who speak out, when really there's like 90% of people walking around and you would never even know that they got surgery because they're just doing good. And when people are doing good, they don't usually make a lot of noise about it. Obviously, I will keep you guys updated if anything changes on that front, but fingers crossed that I feel good. Okay, and then the last question, I feel like by far this is the one that everyone wanted answered, is if it affected breastfeeding and kind of like what my breastfeeding journey was like. So for starters, I have fully asked a ton of people who have implants like if they were able to breastfeed, and every single one of them said that they were. I have still not met a single person who was not able to breastfeed that got implants. And actually, I think I posted about this once, and a ton of influencers, like big influencers that you would probably recognize, reach out to me and were like, I have implants and I've breastfed all 5 of my babies. And I have like people I know personally who have breastfed their babies. So I don't think that implants should normally impact your ability to breastfeed. I think it's like reductions, and then maybe like if you got a lift, just because they're like removing tissue, that maybe that would impact your ability more. I also think that more old-fashioned breast implants, or sometimes like bodybuilders, get the implants over the muscle, and so that's a little bit closer to like the actual breast tissue and like the milk ducts and stuff like that. So I think that people who get implants over the muscle may experience more problems. But if you get them under the muscle, which is the standard now, probably gonna get it under the muscle, I don't think it should affect breastfeeding. As far as like my experience with breastfeeding, I do remember feeling so massive, especially at the beginning when your milk comes in and your boobs are just so big. So that was definitely uncomfortable, but it didn't last forever. I think in a perfect world, you could wait to get implants like when you're done having kids. If you are really anticipating how uncomfortable it would be to have like giant nursing boobs on top of implants, then you might want to wait. But outside of that, I don't really think it impacted my breastfeeding experience. And all the people that I've talked to so far have also had a similar experience as me, where their implants didn't really get in the way of anything. Okay, well, I think that is the end of the video. I'm pretty sure I covered everything, so please let me know down in the comments below if I missed something. And if you already watched the other vlog and you still have questions or you want to know anything else, feel free to ask me in the comments. As always, thank you for watching my channel, and I will be back soon.